Good afternoon. Lieutenant Governor Morales, Speaker Martinez, Senate Pro Tem Stewart, Leader Chasey, Leader Worth, Minority Leaders Lane and Baca. Thank you all for being here today. I'm grateful to all of our lawmakers and tribal leaders here today for their tireless efforts to improve our state. And I want to thank my family, including my daughter Taylor, my brother Gregory, Gregory's granddaughter Amaya Garcia. I'm looking for the spot. Who is here today representing her father, Tony, who is a member of the New Mexico National Guard. And I especially want to recognize my husband, the First Manny, who, like all of you know, I run on caffeine. Most of all, I want to thank my fellow New Mexicans who are building the tomorrow that we will share together. I'm grateful for your participation, for your willingness to think big and act boldly to address the challenges that we face. When I became governor in 2019, I promised to lay an incredibly strong foundation for economic prosperity. And in the years since then, it has become second nature to associate New Mexico with the jobs of today and tomorrow. If you want a great career, New Mexico is the place to be. If you're looking for a place to start a new business and have new opportunities, New Mexico is the place to be. If you want an innovative, successful business, New Mexico is in fact the place to be. And I'm proud to say
Sergeant Wines.
I hope they're going to be happier later when we talk about all the climate change and renewable energy that we're going to lean into. Thank you. Thank you. And while we are dealing with that, I think it is really important. It takes courage for a young person, whether it's in the right place or not, or we're leaning in or not. This is a state and this is a country that protects people who don't share your exact opinion. And I'm very proud of that. That takes courage. And it takes patience and understanding from all of us. And we're going to continue to be that state. All right. I'm proud to say that New Mexico has the highest number of jobs in its history. We are one of the best states for job growth in the country, and we're the best state for wage growth in the entire nation. We've added 110,000 jobs in the past 3.5 years, giving more people than ever the chance to earn a living, get ahead, and provide for their families for years to come. And at the same time, we are ensuring that our young people inherit a state with the splendor and abundant resources that we have been privileged to enjoy. Our Land of Enchantment Legacy Fund is enriching conservation programs in counties and tribal communities statewide, preserving the state's natural beauty. Our tax credits and clean car rules are strengthening that position. We are, in fact, a clean energy state. And it's important to note that we've cut pollution from the oil and gas industry in half compared to our neighbors in Texas. And our methane rules were recently adopted by the federal government as the standard for smart regulation. We're demonstrating that a healthy environment and a strong economy are not in conflict, offering a new model, the New Mexico model, for states like ours all across the country. And with record state revenues, we are growing our financial strength at a rate never before seen in our entire history. The start of my administration, the state's bond rating was at risk, and our reserves were just a third of what they are today. We rank among the top states for financial growth and stability and have grown our permanent fund more than 200%, offering the promise, we're going to clap, of a sustainable future for generations to come. And let's be clear, this is no accident. It is our collective effort. It is the result of a forward-looking, comprehensive strategy to generate ongoing economic progress with new ideas that only a state like ours can pioneer. A nimble state, a determined state, forged by our rugged landscapes and fueled by our diverse communities, built for innovation and made to lead. So the question now is, what's next? That's the question that defines the character of New Mexico. Strong-minded, pioneering, and creative. After all, this is the state that split the atom and won a cataclysmic war, and that is working to make whole the people and families affected by its impacts. The state that sold the first personal computer and created the modern clean room. The state that invented the breakfast burrito, the green chili cheeseburger, the flaming hot Cheeto, and the Frito pie. I saw someone bringing Frito pies, and I noticed I did not get one. In every generation, we have looked beyond the challenges of the moment to launch ideas and industries that pay dividends decade after decade. In the last 5 months alone, 5 months, we've brought in companies from Australia, Germany, Singapore, and Taiwan, promising 2,400 additional jobs and a 10-year economic impact of $7 billion. Solidifying, it's huge, New Mexico's place as an economic powerhouse. I just want to remind us that small states with rural, tiny populations, it is not synonymous to say you're an economic powerhouse unless you're in New Mexico. It is amazing. And frankly, as I'm giving this speech right now, we're announcing that, thank you, that Calgon Carbon will soon be calling Bloomfield, New Mexico home. This leading, somebody can clap for that, Bloomfield. I love it. I want businesses in every corner of the state. This leading manufacturer of air and water purification tools will support customers across the western and southwestern United States. And it's going to bring jobs to these rural communities that too often, frankly, get overlooked. Mesa Film Studios is building a full-service, state-of-the-art production facility in Albuquerque at a time when production studios nationwide are booked years out. It's yet another reason for the most ambitious. We're going to give them their due. Well, job security for the entire session for Sergeant of Arms. We also seem to have several protests going on at once, and if anyone needs me to talk about what they are, we have a couple more on this right, just want to make sure. And again, we're going to do what I expect everyone to do. I want you to do a round of applause, even though it's a disruption, that the world is complicated. And that far too many young people find themselves locked into a situation where it's very hard to have clarity about the right steps forward. And rather, we all want a situation where we embrace differences of opinion, some discord, maybe a disruption or an interruption, while we recognize that we're not going to have all the answers to the world's problems, certainly not in today's speech. Maybe not even in tomorrow's actions. But we will, in fact, be straightforward, ever dedicated, and committed to solving and tackling as many of our own issues as we lead the entire nation and, quite frankly, the world on the best practices that make sure that we continue to be a state that leads. And I was bragging about businesses, so make no mistake, I'm going to keep doing that. Because this film studio is the reason that additional ambitious productions are going to choose New Mexico, again, making sure that young people, all people, are in a position to follow their dreams and bring careers. Last August, we celebrated the state's largest manufacturing deal ever, when Maxion Solar Technologies chose New Mexico to reshore the first solar cell plant, the first one in the United States. Here. A $1 billion enterprise that comes with nearly 2,000 jobs. The message is clear, and we're hearing it again and again from companies worldwide. New Mexico is where businesses want to be. So I have a suggestion. Let's capitalize on this momentum. Around the globe, access to water is now the greatest challenge of the century. New Mexico can turn that into an opportunity. Now imagine the potential of turning the ocean of brackish water beneath our feet into water we can put to use, to meet the demands of communities now and in the future, to sustain our economic growth, and to meet this moment with a first of its kind solution, the strategic water supply. It will build a secure, resilient water future for our state. Now I'm asking the legislature for $500 million in severance tax bonds to make this strategic water supply a reality, spurring the private sector to turn an untapped resource into water that we can use without asking taxpayers to front all of those costs. I'm also proposing that we dedicate 2% of our severance tax permanent fund, that's about $170 million, to catapult forward the advanced energy sources of the future: hydrogen, geothermal, next generation battery storage, further committing our state to the climate goals of the country and beyond. And that's not all. I'm announcing a commitment to pursue an advanced manufacturing tax credit, a companion to the groundbreaking Inflation Reduction Act. I still think we can be to the, as we're clearing again, let's be gentle. Gives me an opportunity to just talk about whatever I want. This might be an excellent place for parents. There are other folks in the gallery who stand for things that not everybody in this room is going to agree on. And we're going to talk about it later in the speech, like gun violence. But they provide space for everyone. And for the young people who are showing us their courage, this is also a state that can lean in a bit better to making sure that we are kind and polite and that we're listening particularly to, we are in fact a national climate leader. So anyone in this room and anyone with children of their own or young people as advocates, let's make sure that all of the facts are being presented in a way that creates the kind of heartfelt commitment to change, but recognizes the progress in the state. And in this room alone, certainly not lost on me, and I know it's not lost on you, we have not always agreed on every solution or every energy source. And yet, today, New Mexico is still a clean energy leader. And as long as I'm governor, we're going to keep following that path. All right, so now I'm a little lost. You can stall for a minute, and I'll catch up. But this manufacturing tax credit, don't go back. Always lean in and go forward. So last night when I was practicing, these poor guys say, "Are you going to go off script?" I said, "No. I mean, that's not going to happen. What is this, like my 6th time? Of course I'm going to go off script. Because I hope a little that I'm getting the right messages in, but I'm reading the room. And if you can't do that, and I want to tell you it's not as easy as I hope I'm making it look right now, because it's hard, and it's really hard for someone who's trying to find this while I'm doing it. Imagine what it's like helping me deliver a speech in another country where they don't speak English. And I'm a real challenge. So let's give the folks running my teleprompter a round of applause, because it's not easy. So I'm about ready to hit that first word delivering. Hang on one more second. We want the tools that are working in the federal government. And I know that as you're traveling, I know that as you're getting businesses who are talking to you about relocating here, that the tax credits, that the investments, that the shared responsibility in economic success is making a difference. And make no mistake that these companies, particularly in the advanced energy sector, and the reshoring of manufacturing solar has everything to do with the federal investments. Knowing unequivocally that that works, a state that's got some of its own resources, you want to make sure that you're continuing to lead, that nobody can compete, then we lean into the same strategies that advanced energy tax credit for advanced manufacturing, I feel incredibly bullish, would continue to make New Mexico a place where every business addressing climate change and new innovations is going to want to be. So let's see if we can't get that over the finish line. Because, after all, Delivering on the promise of a clean energy future requires modern, efficient infrastructure, from a resilient power grid to safe roads to reliable drinking water. Between federal and state funding, and thank you, by the way, we're putting more than $7 billion in infrastructure funds to work right now in every county in the state. Just recently, we broke ground on the SunZia transmission line, the largest, that's right, renewable energy project in United States history, all right? It's the biggest. That delivers green electrons, New Mexico electrons, a lot like our green chili, across the Southwest, so isn't Colorado going to be mad, with an economic impact of $20.5 billion. We sped up and delivered on the Navajo Gallup Water Supply Project, a $1 billion initiative more than a decade in the making. And a result of our collective work, this project is already bringing drinking water to 6,000 New Mexicans. The majority of whom live on the Navajo Nation and haven't had reliable drinking water. In the next 15 years, this project will serve 250,000 more New Mexicans. And we've rebuilt the New Mexico State Veterans Home in Truth or Consequences with brand new, state-of-the-art, independent living communities and homes for veterans and their families who have answered the call of duty. And I submit that if you were building your dream home, this is what it would look like. And it is exactly what our veterans in New Mexico deserve. And again, there's nothing else like it in the public sector anywhere in the country. Nothing like it. Projects like these have impacts that go far beyond their walls. They create thousands of jobs, both now and into the future. They bring new activity and new opportunities to communities statewide. They make our neighborhoods stronger, safer, and more resilient. And still, there's more we can do. And that's why I'm asking the legislature for $100 million to support an infrastructure matching fund so communities don't leave any federal money on the table for lack of a local match. And it's why I'm asking for $55 million to continue expanding a widespread charging infrastructure network for electric vehicles. Charging an electric car or truck should be as easy and convenient as pumping gas. And whether you're going from Deming to Clayton, from Farmington to Carlsbad, from Las Cruces to Las Vegas, or you're taking the high road from Santa Fe to Taos, residents and tourists alike should be able to get from one end of the state to the other, no matter what vehicle they drive. And I think we need to take the same forward-looking approach to housing at a moment when New Mexicans are working hard to rent or purchase homes that are too often out of reach. A house is so much more than a roof over your head. More affordable homes mean more families on their feet, more workers able to work, more stability, more hope, and more opportunity. And we know that New Mexico, quite frankly, today needs to construct thousands of homes as fast as possible. Yet too often, housing development is stalled by a complicated web of zoning and permitting requirements that vary from city to city and county to county. To build for the future, we need to fund development, smart, fair, equitable development, and then we need to get, quite frankly, the hell out of our own way. And I'm asking the legislature for two things. First, I'm asking for funding to build the housing we need. $250 million in low-interest loans to spur the private sector to build faster. And $250 million to massively expand home buying programs like down payment assistance. So we're prepared, and more New Mexicans, like my brother's granddaughter Amaya, can get into safe, affordable housing when they're ready to do so. And at the same time, I intend to create an Office of Housing as a one-stop shop for developers and contractors looking to build, and for families who are seeking a home of their own. Second, as a condition of receiving state funding for housing development, I am also asking the legislature to require local governments to institute zoning and permitting requirements that meet national best practices. Nobody should be prevented from building vital housing, and nobody should be shut out of a place to live because of outdated and overlapping bureaucratic regulations. The health of our communities and of our families remains one of my highest priorities. We were just the third state to cap the cost of insulin, setting the lowest price at the time in the country, and frankly serving as the model for other states to meet that price point. Because New Mexicans shouldn't have to decide between their medications and a meal. We've increased Medicaid provider rates, and I thank you for that, and expanded the healthcare professional loan repayment program, and I thank you for that, because it keeps more doctors and nurses and healthcare workers in our state. And with the $80 million from the Rural Healthcare Delivery Fund, it was awarded last year to communities, we have made it easier for New Mexicans to get the healthcare that they need, from ambulance services in Mora to ultrasounds in McKinley County, from optometry in Curry County to dental services in Sierra County, from primary care for seniors in Valencia County to behavioral health in Lee County. These initiatives are working. That's why I'm requesting another $100 million for the Rural Healthcare Delivery Fund. Additional Medicaid funding so our providers can meet growing demands, and a hospital provider tax, which will bring in an additional $1.5 to $2 billion into our state, shoring up our healthcare delivery system without costing patients or providers a dime. And let's complete the Healthcare Authority this session. Doing so will reduce premiums, cut out-of-pocket costs, increase consumer protections, demand better provider networks, and hold insurance companies accountable. New Mexicans should never have their lives or livelihoods threatened by insurance companies that are more determined to make a dollar than a difference. And as we look towards the future, we are also looking towards our young people and working to provide nation-leading education at every age. Today, we are the only state in the U.S., and congratulations, with a constitutional right to child care, and the only state in the country to require both free and nutritious school meals. Our structured literacy curriculum is delivering real results. Over the last year alone, we saw a 4% statewide increase in reading scores for kids in grade 3 to 8, and an unprecedented 5% increase in reading scores for Native American students, something that the state has in fact not accomplished ever before. It is 4% statewide, 5% among Native American students. But here's the thing. The Pewaukee School District, where they implemented and embraced the structured literacy program in its entirety, Pewaukee saw double-digit gains in their reading scores, all right? 26%. See a proud legislator over there? Now look, that's what schools can do when they partner with the state and take full advantage of the historic tools, strategies, and resources that you, and thank you, have put, quite frankly, at their fingertips. Stephanie Males is here today, and her daughter is a student at Berendo Elementary in Roswell. And Stephanie put it to us this way. I've seen my daughter make huge educational strides this year. With the help of structured literacy curriculum, she's sounding out words much easier and faster than her older brother once did. Clearly, the science of reading is a much more effective way to teach reading. She also remarked that structured literacy is now making a difference for her son as well. Now look, if you're a parent, you know that that kind of progress is a real game changer. And I know unequivocally that we can and should double down on our successes and supercharge our results. The United States has some of the lowest literacy rates of any wealthy nation, and countries with the highest levels use structured literacy programs. We know it works there, and we've seen it work right here in New Mexico. Now, I'm calling for $30 million in capital to build a statewide literacy institute and another $30 million to support free literacy summer programs for 10,000 students who need to catch up to grade level. Every student, and frankly, every New Mexican, should be given the opportunity to learn to read the best of their ability. No student should ever be told that their progress is not a priority. Parents and kids deserve the very best from all of us in this room. And they deserve the best, and they have the ability in our school system. Look, like you, I am proud of all of our public education efforts. But we got to be doing this work together. And that's why I'm calling for an expansion of the school year to 180 days. And I'm asking the legislature to fund it so that every child in public schools gets the time they need and the education that they deserve. Now, we've seen here and in states across the country, it's evidence-based. We're not just making up a strategy, that more quality instruction makes a difference. And we've seen the proven effectiveness of more time in class. And it is, I submit to you, it's challenging, but it's time that we do the right thing for our kids in New Mexico. And just like Bella Chandler, a kindergarten teacher, give her a round of applause, she's amazing. She's also a structured literacy coach at S.Y. Jackson in Albuquerque, as well as Principal Chris Cardona and math teacher Roberto Salas from the Gaston School District in Las Cruces, where they're embracing and doing these programs, and they're making sizable, dramatic differences as they implement them. And I thank them for their dedication to New Mexico families. I do want to pause, and I want to tell you, I'm pausing, that look, there are jobs and careers that are really tough. Ask doctors and nurses, particularly over the last 5 years. Look no further than your public education teachers and principals and superintendents and social workers and nurses And I'm going to tell you, their jobs are complex. They are. They are. And we owe them a great deal of gratitude. But we have to come together. And the priority here is our kiddos and their families. And it is time for New Mexico, in the same way that when we put our minds to anything, we become the best at it in the country. Why wouldn't we have the best public education outcomes, bar none, in the country? Well, that's my goal, and I hope that it is yours too. We, all of us, including our school districts, all of us, have to be accountable for the results that we desire. We need to guarantee that the legislature's billions in public education are going to the right places and leading to better outcomes. That's why I'm asking for $30 million to embed experts in our lowest performing schools so that we can support the men and women who dedicate their lives and careers to kiddos, to identify what those challenges are, to determine the right solutions that work for that school, those families, those kiddos, those educators, and give our kids the vital support to make the difference. And it's why, one more time, everyone, it's a public system. We all have to be accountable, including making sure that the investments that schools need are meeting them where they need them, because we have to all be responsible to meet the standards that, quite frankly, we have already set. And whether it's a nutritious meal or an expanded school year, our parents and kids deserve to know that our schools and the legislature and the executive branch are holding up their end of the deal. So we're demanding better, and we're delivering better in areas including education to healthcare, to the economy, and more. We need to demand the very same now in public safety. Right now, the leading cause of death for our children is guns. Guns. In communities across the state, we have seen the carnage that results and the risk that is ever present when weapons of war and, frankly, guns are far too easy to obtain. We've experienced the trauma of a mass shooting in Farmington and the tragedy of a 6-year-old shot just this weekend in Hurley. And while the facts are still unfolding, it is clear that more children were involved in this violence. We have seen too many ruined lives, far too many broken families, too many stolen futures, and too many, unacceptable, too many small coffins. This violence is nothing short of horrific. It is tragic, and it is preventable. It's preventable. Enough. This is the most important work we're going to do. Because all the other stuff, the jobs, the futures, the homes, the education, meaningless if we can't keep New Mexicans safe. Now, that's why I'm calling for a gun safety package. Bans assault weapons, raises the legal purchase for all guns to 21, institutes a 14-day waiting period, increasing penalties for felons in possession of a firearm, keeps guns out of parks and playgrounds, and allows law enforcement officers to now file extreme risk protection orders to keep firearms away from people. And I submit that these are common sense measures that will save lives. We have Sonia Burrito here with us from Albuquerque. A few years ago, when Sonia was 16, an argument broke out at a party, and she was shot multiple times. In fact, she was shot 12 times. 12 times. And by the grace of God, and with extraordinary health care, she's here today, demanding that we do something to prevent gun violence. And I want you, and I thank her for her courage, her advocacy, and her commitment to making a difference. Thank you so much. And just as, right, we're not all on the same page on environmental issues, I want to be very clear. No responsible gun owner should be punished or prevented from exercising their rights, and no child should ever be put in danger by a weapon of war, especially one wielded by a person who can't pass a background check or can't wait 2 weeks to get a firearm. Any gun in the wrong hands is an untenable risk that we can't afford. We know that the violence in our communities is also frequently committed by career criminals, and some of them continue their pattern of crime while awaiting trial. That's why I'm enhancing the commercial burglary statute to treat repeat offenses like the pattern that they are, because they are. And those bad actors need to be held accountable in all of our communities. And it's why I still believe we need a mandate for pretrial detention for violent and repeat offenders with, again, a rebuttable presumption so that dangerous people can be kept away from the public. And maybe I haven't done this very well, but this idea isn't new. It's not a new idea. It's embedded in the federal justice system, and it works. And borrowing things and making them even better here is another New Mexico proud tradition. So let's take something that works and apply it here to make sure that we are, in fact, keeping every New Mexican safe. And I'm also asking this legislature to pass mandatory treatment for persons repeatedly entering the judicial system for illicit substances. And many of these people, thank you, many, not all, many are unhoused. And for their own health and safety and for the well-being of our communities, something must shift. We need responsible, accountable, and compassionate action that makes a lasting difference. And that means getting these individuals the treatment that they need and, quite frankly, that they deserve. And I believe, and given that we've had some of these changes, and I was the Secretary of Health then, and they were a tough lift even then. But now, mandated outpatient treatment strategies and tools that we know today work. It is the only way we're going to interrupt the systemic challenges that are now ever present in every single New Mexico community. So let's be brave and make a difference. For these same reasons, and to protect the individuals in the community, I'm also proposing that we end unsafe practices related to panhandling on our streets. We have one of the highest pedestrian fatality rates in the entire country. In a situation where drivers and their children as passengers are at increased risk, and it's not tenable, and we can do something about it. Now, it's important to recognize, as we've been talking about safety, that these public safety challenges don't begin with violent crime. And I also want to pause That's my new cue for those poor guys. This legislature, and give yourselves the credit that you deserve, all of you, because states can't address more complex, complicated public safety issues. We can't, without recognizing that they're ever-changing and investing in education and jobs and childcare and housing. Lifting families up so that they have real choices must occur. And by God, you have done that. And I'm asking you to do even more. And it's a place of great pride, which is also a New Mexico thing, pride. And so don't forget that you have led the way. And I would submit both parties. Maybe those strategies are a little different, but no one here has run from investing in the strength of the economy and the efforts in your communities and has stood up and said that we need to do more in public safety. Every single one of you. And that is a place that we can build from. And so I just want to remind us, given that you've done such incredible, powerful work, that these issues, they begin with kiddos who don't have enough support to get through school. They begin in communities where jobs are scarce. They begin even in smallest ways when failures that affect our sense of pride, as I said, in our state. And that pride matters. I mean, just go to any high school football game. That pride matters. It's what drives us to expand our imagination, to raise our gaze, to raise our standards, and to raise our aspirations. And the look of our beautiful state ought to shine with that sense of pride about how we feel about this state every day. And that's why today I am also calling for an aggressive $43 million statewide for a cleanup initiative. And that means improving state properties, fixing state roadways, cleaning up trash, and protecting the beauty of our open spaces. Thank you. It means supporting and enhancing local efforts that address litter and graffiti, like the work of Mary Garwood, who's also here with us today. Now, Mary is a new Carlsbad City Councilor. Congratulations, Mary. Now, she's been championing beautification efforts for years in her community, and she continues to organize and lead the annual River Blitz cleanup along the Pecos River. She's a hero. And right here in Santa Fe, Kevin Rapp has led volunteers in hundreds of hours of work cleaning up hundreds of pounds of trash. But by doing this work together, we can show our commitment and deepen our connection to our shared home. Through all of these actions, in our economy and our infrastructure, housing and healthcare, education and public safety, we can continue to build a New Mexico that reflects the pride we have always felt for our state. Because here's the thing. Pride does not mean complacency. New Mexicans don't ignore challenges in the hope that they will fade. We don't wait for problems to disappear through time and patience alone. And we don't focus solely on the task of today at the expense of days to come or tomorrow. Instead, we envision a brighter future. Now, this is the strength at the heart of New Mexico, a place where new ideas take flight and breakthroughs are born. I love this state. From our beautiful landscapes to our vibrant culture and to our extraordinary people, all of us. We are a small, yes, that is worth clapping for. We are small, but we are mighty. We're a small state with big ideas. We're an expansive state packed with creative energy. A state with the courage of our convictions and the determination to see them through. More than our resources, it's our spirit that allows us to take on challenges, not with half measures and band-aids, but with action that meets the moment and builds the future. At a time when other states are focused on what is, we are committed to what must be, what can be. An economy that offers a good job and career to every person, an environment that supports clean air and extraordinary vistas without sacrificing the prosperity of the people who share in its grandeur. A community that provides education to everyone who wants it, that delivers health care to everyone who needs it, that promotes the safety and security of every person in every neighborhood. State that is forever forward, looking forward toward the horizon, toward what's next, toward what's new, toward what has only been imagined and not realized. This is New Mexico, and we are made to lead. This is New Mexico. We are made to lead. Thank you, and God bless our state. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham.